U.S. Secretary of State Rex Tillerson embarks this week on a diplomatic mission to shore up alliances in Europe and their defenses against Russian aggression and subversion. Ahead of next week's trip to Europe, U.S. Secretary of State Rex Tillerson met Germany's Foreign Minister Sigmar Gabriel and agreed on the need for a tough UN peacekeeping mandate in Ukraine. But as he prepares to set off Monday for Brussels, Vienna, and Paris, his authority to speak for Washington has been called into question by a rift with President Donald Trump. Anonymous leaks from the White House suggest the top diplomat could be replaced within weeks and, even while denying this, Trump reminded him, "I call the final shots." Tillerson has dismissed as laughable reports that Trump's closest aides want him to resign, but rumors will inevitably dog him when he sits down with his European peers. His trip is structured around ministerial conferences of the NATO allies in Brussels and the 57-member Organization for Security and Cooperation in Europe, in Vienna. But the most closely watched encounter will be a meeting with his Russian counterpart, Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov, on the sidelines of the OSCE talks late in the week. At NATO, alliance partners will want to hear how America can help defend them against the newly global threat of North Korea's long-range nuclear missiles. Tillerson gave a major speech on European policy in Washington on Tuesday to preview his agenda ahead of the trip, and he did not mince words about Russia. He will tell his NATO Western allies that they must stand shoulder to shoulder to oppose the enemies that threaten our security and oppose our way of life, while Russia must be brought to reverse its intervention in eastern Ukraine through relentless sanctions pressure. Tillerson's meeting with his Russian counterpart Sergei Lavrov will be the most closely watched of his European trip. Any resolution to the war that does not entail a fully independent, sovereign, territorially whole Ukraine is unacceptable, Tillerson declared. Our transatlantic unity is meant to convey to the Russian government that we will not stand by this flagrant violation of international norms, he said. But for this warning to be credible, Tillerson must be seen as speaking for the whole U.S. government and the president, who has shown no enthusiasm for sanctions against Russia. Trump, who in 2013 suggested he become Russian leader Vladimir Putin's best friend, opposed a law passed this year by Congress that could impose new sanctions from January, over Russia's Ukraine intervention and alleged interference in the U.S. presidential election. The White House has even attempted to play down the conclusion of U.S. intelligence that Russia deployed hackers and propagandists to assist in Trump's election win. But since that victory, the Trump administration's other major players, Tillerson and Defense Secretary Jim Mattis, have taken a tougher line. Supporters of the self-proclaimed Donetsk People's Republic, backed by Russia in conflict-scarred eastern Ukraine, rally on September 7, 2017. Relations with Russia are at a low after tit-for-tat closures of diplomatic missions, although both sides seem to want to cooperate to stabilize Syria.